This wild and crazy NFL offseason continues, and Deebo Samuel has requested a trade. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr., bringing you all of the latest breaking news around Deebo Samuel wanting out of San Francisco. We know by now, we've been talking about this here on the channel, that he wants a new contract extension going into the final year of his rookie deal. San Francisco and him haven't been able to come to an agreement, and now it has reached a boiling point that has a lot of fans feeling devastated. Deebo Samuel no longer wants to rock the scarlet, red, and gold. So Jeff Darlington of ESPN was the first one to break the news. He said this on Twitter. We'll run through all of the most recent reports, then get to Deebo Samuel statistics, take a look at the top 5 highest paid wide receivers, and some Deebo Samuel replacements by way of the NFL draft. But Darlington, breaking news, I just spoke with wide receiver Deebo Samuel, and he told me that he has asked the 49ers to trade him. He did not want to discuss specific reasons behind his request, but he has indeed let the 49ers know his desire to leave the organization. More to come. Here's that more to come. Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, with a really surprising tidbit of news, and maybe this is a big reason behind why these trade rumors and trade talks have been silent. The trade request came in more than a week ago, and the 49ers have been aware of Deebo's feelings for a while. This is why there have been no talks. And last night on the channel, we talked about this report from Bobby Thompson that those contract talks between Deebo and the organization had reached a halt. A big reason for that? Deebo Samuel making his trade stance be known, that he was frustrated with the Niners, and it seems he wants to play elsewhere. Keep an eye out for this. The draft is now 8 days away. Teams have already shown interest in trading for him, and whatever the Niners can get back, they are going to get a haul if they decide to trade Deebo away. Of course, he's going into the final year of his rookie contract. They could also franchise tag him, but now in the player empowerment era, I'm fascinated to see what does unravel. More reporting from Ian Rappaport. 49ers have been looking to make offers for a long-term deal with wide receiver Deebo Samuel, but he's unwilling to engage. This is why. Unclear where this goes from here, but Samuel wanting out is the latest in big-name wide receiver drama that has involved a trade of Tyreek Hill, a trade of Davante Adams, and now maybe another trade from one of the most explosive wide receiver and offensive weapons in the National Football League. What's interesting, too, is that according to Rap Sheet, money is not at the root of the issues for Deebo. Otherwise, that could be fixed with a big offer. But there are also issues with how he's used. And that's a big surprise to me. A big reason why Deebo Samuel emerged last year was because he invented a new position, wide back. He impacted games through the air. He impacted games on the ground and in the return game. And Kyle Shanahan's usage of him was really the first time that we've seen a wide receiver used that way. And because of that, that's what allowed Deebo Samuel to thrive and flourish and really elevate his game to the next level, making him one of the most valuable players in the NFL outside of quarterbacks. Now, maybe he's looking for a contract extension. He wants to get paid big-time money, and he understands, okay, I play a physical brand of football. I'm not being used as a prototypical wide receiver. If I am used in that way, like a Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, Stephon Diggs, my body won't get beat up, and I can extend my career. I don't want to play running back anymore, and maybe that reached a boiling point as well. As we continue to break all of this down right here on the 49ers Report, I appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day as we break down this breaking news. One-word reaction to the Deebo Samuel trade request: frustrated, baffled, surprised. Some people have said selfish and entitled. I don't want any of you reaching out to Deebo and sending him death threats. I think that's just ridiculous. He wants to get paid. But either way, this will be the pinned comment on today's breaking news video. So give me your one-word reaction to the Deebo Samuel trade request. Now, if the Niners do decide to trade him away, I think they can reach out to a team like the New York Jets and field 2 first-round picks in the top 10 in exchange for a dynamic weapon like this. You take a look at the numbers that he put forward last year. Through the air, 77 catches, 1,400 yards, 18.2 average yards per catch, and 6 touchdowns. But he was arguably even better and more impactful used as a running back on some of those jet sweeps as a versatile do-it-all weapon. He combined for 14 total touchdowns, 365 rushing yards on 56 carries, and an average yards per carry of north of 6. Now, the usage of Deebo Samuel last year was terrific. I thought the creativity from Kyle Shanahan was outstanding. I really think he did a great job, and utilizing Deebo, and he was a monster reason behind the San Francisco 49ers turnaround after that 3-5 start, and a big reason why they were able to turn it around, end the season very hot, and end their year with 10 regular season wins. And you take Deebo Samuel out of this offense, let's say with Trey Lance as your starting quarterback next year, that doesn't help Trey Lance at all, given his inexperience level and him not being a full-time starter. If he has a security blanket like Deebo at wide receiver and at running back, he can be that guy who bails you out. Now Trey Lance moving forward might not have that, and that does impact the offensive dynamic for the Niners. This is why you subscribe to the channel, because this news was made official about Deebo Samuel's trade request. We went live within minutes, literally. I gathered everybody here inside the Chat Sports offices. We got our graphics together. We scheduled our live show, and we went live not just on YouTube, but also on Rumble. We're approaching 60,000 subscribers on YouTube, and on Rumble, we're making it happen as well. We continue to grow to the platforms that you as the people use. What's a cool feature about Rumble, you can close out the app and still listen to our videos podcast style, and also we put free and exclusive content that you can't find on YouTube on Rumble, so give us a follow today, rumble.com/49erstv. If the 49ers do end up signing Deebo Samuel and these trade request rumors finally simmer down, or if he gets traded elsewhere, he's going to land a contract worth an average annual value of somewhere in the neighborhood between all of these wide receivers on your screen. DJ Moore is getting paid $20 million per year. Deebo can get more than that. Stephon Diggs, after that new contract with Buffalo, $24 million even on an average annual value basis. DeAndre Hopkins is making more than $27 million. Davante Adams even at 28, and Tyreek Hill, after he was traded to the Miami Dolphins, set the record for the most money made per year for wide receivers at $30 million. Now, I think Deebo is going to fall somewhere between 20 and 30. If you're the Niners, maybe they disrespected Deebo and they offered him less than 20 per, and they using him as a running back against him. I find that hard to believe. A lot of players out there do credit and they do compliment the Niners for reinvigorating their love for football, but with Deebo, now he wants out. Was it because a disrespectful trade offer was made, or maybe no offer has been made up to this point? I'm sure we're going to find out those details along the way, and we'll be the first channel to let you know. I've said this about wide receiver targets now, and what have we seen this offseason? Tyreek Hill gets traded out of Kansas City. Nobody predicted that. Davante Adams was traded from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders. Nobody could have predicted that. And now we're seeing the other third element of this, Deebo Samuel requesting a trade. Now think about what you're paying Stephon Diggs per year, $30 million. Davante Adams, 28. Deebo, let's say he wants 25 to 30. That's good and all, and they're impact players, but year in, year out now, the talent pool is so deep in the NFL draft when it comes to the wide receiver position. And when you draft a wide receiver, they're under team control, and you don't have to pay them anywhere close to a Deebo like he's going to get, a Davante Adams or a Tyreek Hill. And this year, there are some primetime targets available for the Niners in the NFL draft if they do get back some draft compensation. And these guys can help replace Deebo. Garrett Wilson, Jamison Williams, Drake London, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, and Chris Olave. These are impact wide receivers who in previous years we have seen a Jamar Chase, we've seen a Justin Jefferson impact the game year one and become some of the best wide receivers in the NFL for a fraction of the price of what the Niners would have to pay Deebo. So for those of you panicking right now, I think at the end of the day, if you trade him away, it's going to impact this team, no question, because of the reliance on Deebo to make plays last year. But if they get draft compensation back, they can replace that lack of production and missing production with some really primetime targets in the 2022 NFL Draft, which is coming your way April 28th to the 30th, which now for San Francisco has become a lot more interesting. Before we get into my trade ideas for Deebo, what should the asking price be for him? Stick around because I'm going to break down my trade ideas right now, but be creative and be the GM in the comment section. Deebo Samuel trade idea number one. It's a trade with the New York Jets. If I'm John Lynch, I'm being very aggressive in these trade talks because Deebo Samuel is a straight-up baller. The Jets right now currently own the number 4 overall selection and the number 10 overall pick. You can use both of those picks on wide receivers. You can use one of them on a really good wide receiver, one of the names who we just talked about, and maybe even get an edge rusher as well. I'd like that production for San Francisco in a trade. Jets receive Deebo Samuel. Another trade idea with the Philadelphia Eagles. Niners receive a first-round pick, 15th and 18th overall, and next year's pick that the Eagles now have in that trade with the New Orleans Saints. Big reason why it's 3 first-round picks instead of 2. The value of 4 and 10, not the same as 15 and 18. Last trade idea, it's also with the Jets, and there's a level of familiarity there with Robert Saleh being the head coach now. Let me get number 10 overall and some offensive line help. Elijah Vera-Tucker, formerly of USC, had a really good rookie year, put up some really good numbers last year, and the Jets are able to get Zach Wilson, that bona fide number 1 wide receiver. If you're John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, Parag, Adam Peters, the whole front office, you cannot settle for anything other than an absolute haul in a trade package for Deebo Samuel. It's the player empowerment era, folks, and if a wide receiver, if any player in the NFL wants to demand a trade while they're in their prime, I'm asking for a lot in return for that impact player because I have to replace that elite level of production.